Dayton Flyer football, the focus today is we are so excited to talk with offensive lineman Ryan Iiams. Ryan, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks, excited to be here.
We always sort of focus on the playmakers, but we're going in the trenches here.
Yeah.
And I think if you ask folks what's your favorite play, they'll talk about a deep ball or a juke or a big hit. As an offensive lineman, what's your favorite play?
You know, I love inside zone. To the right or the left. I love getting my first two steps in the ground, loading and shooting my hands and getting sticky on a defensive lineman and, you know, taking him against his will and being able to move him. That's pretty cool. Pretty good feeling.
That's a perfect answer for an offensive lineman. When did you fall in love with the position?
Well, you know, I'm probably like every other offensive lineman. When I was young, I wanted to play tight end. And then, you know, I got to middle school and they're like, Ryan, like, you're not fast enough, kid. And I was upset for a minute, and then once I learned good technique and, you know, I fell in love with violence, it became pretty fun.
Springboro Panther.
Yes, sir.
Hometown product.
Yeah.
When did you discover that you were pretty good at moving people?
I don't know, probably freshman, sophomore year. I got a chance to play on varsity my sophomore year and had a little success there, and I thought it was, you know, maybe an opportunity would be at the next level.
Well, there was, and you started outside of Pittsburgh, PA,
yes, sir.
At Robert Morris, and then moment comes where you come back home.
Yeah.
How's that process been?
Well, it was cool. You know, I've always kind of held this story back, but I was talking with my girlfriend last night, and I was like, you know, I'll tell him. So I went there for 2 years, and Thanksgiving break rolled around, and I was like, you know, it was the last day of Thanksgiving break. I was set on going back to Robert Morris, and my girlfriend said she just wanted to drive me around Dayton's campus, and I was like, no, we're not doing that. And she was like, I'll buy you a smoothie. So I'm like, you know what? Like, being an offensive lineman, I'm like, that's cool with me. I might as well, just for the smoothie. And she drives me around, and I'm like, you know, this feels like home. This is an amazing campus. And then later that night, you know, I talked with my parents, you know, about some family matters, and it just felt like God's calling was for me to come home to Dayton. So.
Well, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you've enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, Dayton's awesome. I've had a ton of fun times here. The highs, the lows, I've enjoyed it all, and it's definitely been a great decision.
It's going to be a strange situation, though, because you're going back to Robert Morris.
Yes, sir.
Are there any players there from your time playing?
Yeah. There. I think there's a few players still there, and as well as some of my coaches, and I got nothing but respect for them. Also had 2 great years there, and they taught me a lot of the core values and some things I've needed to, you know, excel at this level. So I, you know, nothing but good things to say about them.
We were talking before we turned on the camera. I thought it was really interesting. You learned a lot about Dayton football at Robert Morris.
Yeah, that's true.
Just from a standpoint of the history of UD's program.
Yeah. So, you know, I was just telling you. Honestly, like most people didn't know there was a football team, you know, until I got into high school, and Coach Chambo called me, and he was like, you know, we play Robert Morris every year, and, you know, I looked at the history of the game, and I was like, oh, crap, you know, Dayton does have a really good football program, and then we played them there, and I got to see what Dayton was about, so that's really when I picked up on it.
Well, and I think it's a fair statement, especially, you know, we mentioned you're from Springboro, hometown product.
Yeah.
You have a lot of memories of Dayton athletics.
Yeah.
But it's over at UD Arena.
Oh, yeah.
You grew up a big Flyer basketball fan.
Yeah, I was. Probably going to games since I was 6 years old, and, you know, I think the best memory I have was the Elite Eight, 4th or 5th grade. I can't remember the exact grade it was, but just I remember where I was for every single game, and you know, it was an amazing ride.
So with that said, Dayton, Ohio State, where were you?
Well, I can't lie. I was a big Ohio State fan. I still am, but I was an Ohio State guy that day. Dayton overtook me in the basketball field that day, and that's when I became a big fan. No, I mean, I was always a big fan, but that's when I.
But you learned of the score from one of your teachers?
Yeah, we were just hooping outside at recess, and I knew the game was going on because I was super in tune with athletics and sports. And they came outside and they told us Dayton won. And I remember like being 4th and 5th grade, even like we were shocked and we were like, holy crap, that's awesome. And then I went home, put my Dayton shirt on, and I rode him with him.
A Flyer fan and still. All right, well, let's talk about your experience now at Dayton, because this past spring you got voted captain. And, of what you mentioned, growing up and cheering for the Flyers, what's it meant to put on that jersey?
Yeah, it's something that I've always dreamed of when I decided to come back home. And, I was telling you, I have so much respect and love for the guys. And when when that's reciprocated back towards me, there's nothing but, excitement and love. It's been great.
People will hear that, and that title is captain.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing you think of is like leader.
Yeah.
But what are those roles and being captain, wearing that C?
Yeah, I think it's making sure, doing the little things like, if someone's having a bad day, checking up on them, making sure that, they're getting a class, getting good grades, picking the morale up in the locker room. It's just all the little things that it takes to get your friends and your teammates up to their best level, on the field, off the field, trying to do everything you can to get them there.
You mentioned off the field, and I wanted to talk about sort of the connection like Springboro and Dayton, because you've done some pretty cool stuff when it comes to community service. You learned of a group with your time in Springboro. You've been able to carry that over here to Dayton. It all pertains to shoes, right?
Yeah, so I decided to, my girlfriend was talking with me in high school, and she introduced me to Chris Horlocker, and she runs Shoes for the Shoeless. It's a nonprofit organization here in Dayton, Ohio, and they recently just went to Cincinnati, Ohio. And you basically get to go into a local high school or elementary school, middle school, and help give shoes to those in need, and shoes and socks. And it's been a really fun and eye-opening experience.
What I also think is cool is like there's a football connection too, right? That goes like all the way up to the NFL.
Yeah, oh yeah. They've done Cleats for Cause the last 2 years with the Bengals, and then also I got the Dayton football team involved with them 2 years ago. So
really, really cool. Let's put on your cleats. Football season, it's here. What's the best quality of this group out for 2025?
Yeah, I think just how much we love each other. I think in the era of the transfer portal, you have a bunch of new guys coming in, coming out, but not here at Dayton. The traditions and cultures run so deep, and we get to spend, our whole entire college career together, and it's a great thing because you get to build so many strong relationships that are lasting.
Well, and I like to think that you're a real testament to that, because you had an option of graduating. You said, hey, I want another, I'm going to get a chance to play, and I'm going to do it. And you kind of pushed back, turning that tassel for this football season, right?
Yeah, I think probably 2 years ago, I was just sitting at work during summer. I'm like, man, I think football would be more fun than work right now. I have the rest of my life to work. So I was like, if I can just run it back one more semester, that'd be great.
You mentioned work. Let's go there, because I know that's been another big reason for you and coming back to Dayton and being part of something that's really important in a family business. Yeah,
so my dad started, machine shop when he was in his late 20s, early 30s, and he's been able to keep that going and grow it. So anytime you get to be a part of something that special, you gotta take advantage of it.
And is that something that you want to do? When you decide to walk across that stage in December?
Yeah, that's actually where I just came from. Worked a little bit over there and come over here, and any chance I get, I like to go help out any way I can and learn from all the guys. So.
Ryan, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
We're excited to watch you as we move forward on the football season. Best of luck this year.
Thank you very much, man. Go Flyers.